Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our December 18th City Council meeting, our last City Council meeting of the year. I'd like to welcome our new Vice Mayor here, Karen Alvord. I'll turn over to our City Attorney to report out from closed session.
Good evening, thank you. The council met in closed session this evening with the City Attorney's Office to discuss one piece of existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1. The case was Marcus Hill Colbert et al. Versus City of Roseville et al. In the United States District Court, Eastern District of California. The council received a report on the matter and gave the City Attorney's Office direction. There is no reportable action as a result of that closed session. And for the record, the meeting adjourned at 5:42 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask our City Clerk to please read the roll.
Thank you. So we'll start a roll call with Vice Mayor Alvord.
Here.
Councilmember Haudeshelt.
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Here.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Here, thank you. I'd like to move into the Pledge of Allegiance and ask Rich Plicker if he would please lead us in the pledge.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to ask the clerk to please announce the meeting procedures.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Roseville City Council meeting, Housing Authority, and Housing Successor meeting. Agendas are available at the end of the staff table to your right or online on our city's website. All comments from the public should be directed to the City Council and not to any staff member or members of the audience. All speakers must speak from the podium as this meeting is being recorded tonight. Pursuant to the Levine Act, Councilmember Alvord will be recusing from the vote for consent calendar item 7.15 since she received a campaign contribution greater than the $250 from Union Pacific Railroad. In addition, if you're here tonight and would like to speak on any item that is not listed on the agenda, members of the public may address the City Council regarding any item that is not listed on tonight's agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of our City Council. Public comment is limited to 25 minutes, and each speaker will have 3 minutes. If the time limitation is reached in the first segment, there will be a second segment at the end of the council meeting just prior to council comments. The Brown Act does prohibit our City Council from discussing, debating, or taking action on items that are not listed on the agenda. In addition, the Brown Act allows for public comment on all items that are listed on the agenda. Items that are appearing on the agenda, speakers will have 5 minutes to address their comments and concerns on the item that is listed. The time will be monitored, and once the red light begins to blink at the podium, we request that the speaker please conclude their comments. The City Council encourages public participation and requests that you please be courteous during the meeting. Lastly, if addressing our City Council, please consider stating your name for the record tonight. With that, thank you for your civic participation and welcome to the City of Roseville.
Thank you. We will move into our first presentation of the evening. It's 5 Point Ren, Roseville Chamber of Commerce, the splash proceeds. I'd like to invite the CEO executive to come up, Rana Godbon. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Bernasconi and City Council. I'm Ann Carpenter, and I'm here on behalf of the Roseville Area Chamber of Commerce for the check presentation from the proceeds from Splash. I've co-chaired Splash for the last 11 years with some great partners from the city. And before we do this, I just want to take a few minutes to acknowledge the people that helped make this event happen. First of all, my co-chair Alicia Moyer. We've done it a couple of years together, and it's a well-oiled machine. And then Megan Wetzel from the chamber and the chamber staff. I'd also like to thank the park staff that helped before, during, and after the event. They make sure that the aquatics complex is ready for all the new visitors, and when it's over, they make it look like it's never happened, which is sometimes a little tougher to do. I'd like to thank Roseville Electric. They help power up our vendors for us. And then, kind of lastly, but, very importantly, our sponsors, our volunteers, our vendors, our committee members. This event doesn't happen, without all of them, and they all help make it a success. So with that, I'm going to let Rana do the fun stuff.
I wish I get to do the fun stuff and the hard stuff, and I'm very grateful to be here tonight in front of our city council and our city manager, Dom Casey. We're very grateful for the partnership that the Chamber has had with the city for many, many years, and for the hard work of our co-chairs in ensuring that the event is successful and giving us the opportunity to really promote economic development within our city by providing an opportunity for our food and beverage vendors to really showcase what they have to offer to our community. So thank you so much. And on that, would love to present a $20,000 check to the city of Roseville to support youth activities for our Parks and Rec department.
Wow.
Would you like a picture with the council? Okay, all right. You can just come down and take a photo.
Oh, wait.
You look great. Thank you.
It's my turn.
The council and the city, thank you very much. Okay, we will move into the next presentation, item 5.2. It's a resolution for the Seroptimist 70th anniversary. I'd like to congratulate them on their 70th anniversary. We asked Councilmember Pauline Rakucci, who is a part of this organization, if she would provide some comments on the resolution.
You ladies come on up here with me. No, right here, because then you'll be
Gather
able to
around
speak.
Pauline.
And then I'll give you the resolution, but I'll read the resolution a little bit here
Okay.
for you guys. All right. We got all my, Arlie, come on close, come on. They can see you on TV here. Whereas Seroptimist International of Roseville is part of an international organization whose members volunteer to improve the lives of women and girls through programs leading to social and economic empowerment with a focus on education, putting an end to domestic violence and human trafficking. Whereas 70 years of women of Roseville Seroptimist International have been working on city, regional, and global projects to serve women and children in the community and the world. And the membership of Seroptimist International of Roseville has many leaders from businesses and community, including some women and mayors and city council members. And I'm very proud to get a part with you guys.
Pauline,
No.
can you move the microphone over so we can hear you
okay.
better?
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, thanks. Whereas regionally, Seroptimist International of Roseville has worked with Stand Up Placer, Acres of Hope, Chartered Seroptimist of Citrus Heights, and globally they have provided assistance to other countries as with Dress a Girl International and Clearing Landmines. And whereas Seroptimist International of Roseville is uniquely qualified to tackle the challenges facing today's women and girls, and does this by organizing events to raise funds in the fall and one in spring for programs suited for the benefit of women and girls. And they do really fun projects, and the community really comes out and they see what Seroptimists really do. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Roseville, California, that Seroptimist International of Roseville be congratulated on their 70th anniversary and be commended for their success as an organization and their contributions to the Roseville community. One more, and then just Seroptimist International offers several awards annually, recognizing individuals' contributions and make a difference, including Signatures Awards, Live Your Dream, and a scholarship awarded to one senior from each high school in the Roseville Unified District, and also to Dream It, Be It program. Whereas a few of Roseville's
community programs supported by Seroptimus are annual Christmas basket, RPAL activities, Lost But Not Forgotten, Royal Stage, and the funding of police and fire departments. Let me see if I've got the other. I think that's, so be it from the city council and the mayor that we give you, adopt a resolution for Seroptimism International and congratulate you for 70 years of great work helping our community and our girls.
I'd like to thank the council for this recognition. Our group works hard to provide services to the community, and she described a lot of what we do, but I have a little anecdote I'd like to tell you. We recently had a person approach us to be a member, and as she was introducing herself, she was a recipient of one of our scholarships years ago when she was a single mom with twins, and now she's a nurse at one of the local hospitals. So we were really proud and happy that she decided to come back and give back since she was given to. So thank you so much, and we look forward to working with all the members of the community in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up on the agenda is 5.3, the item that many of you have been waiting for. It's a resolution for our Fire Chief, Rick Bartee. And I will start us off at the, you and I can go on the podium. Ready?
I didn't fill out my yellow card.
You want to make a public comment?
Oh, yeah. That's later.
Okay, well, we all wanted to take part in this, so Councilmember Pauline is going to kick us off with her comments and for the resolution.
Okay, whereas Rick Bartee joined the Roseville Fire Department in November 2015 as fire chief, and whereas Chief Bartee firmly believed in the principle that unity fosters strength and diligently worked to establish a labor management alliance, and whereas Chief Bartee has actively encouraged and promoted succession planning for internal staff development, and whereas Chief Bartee acknowledged the necessity of a comprehensive peer support program and has been a staunch advocate for its advancement, ensuring members have access to essential resources. And
whereas Chief Bartee recognized the demand for additional battalion coverage in Roseville's rapidly expanding community and created utilizing existing resources to activate Battalion 2, enhancing coverage on the west side. And whereas Chief Bartee recognized the need and actively advocated for Fire Station 8, the Campus Oaks Fire Station, which is slated to open later this year. And whereas Chief Bartee was a passionate supporter of the Roseville community, regularly participating in local events and making a positive impact on those he met. And
whereas Chief Bartee collaborated with Union Pacific and Cal OES to improve the hazardous materials training capabilities at the Fire Training Center, yielding benefits on a statewide level. And whereas Chief Bartee has partnered with city leadership to ensure that the Roseville Fire Department is equipped with state-of-the-art frontline apparatus while anticipating and advocating for future needs. And whereas during his tenure with Roseville, Chief Bartee has served as president of the Western Placer Chiefs Association and as an area director with the Cal Fire's Chief Association. And
whereas during his tenure as fire chief, Chief Bartee also held the position of National Task Force Representative for all 28 FEMA/USAR task force, a role elected by the task force representatives until May 2021. And whereas during his tenure as fire chief, Chief Bartee was appointed the leader of the FEMA USAR Blue Incident Support Team in the fall of 2021. He has led FEMA task force responses to natural to natural disaster events, including the 2021 Mayfield, Kentucky tornado, Eastern Kentucky floods of 2022, the fire in Lahaina, Maui 2023, and several Florida hurricanes, including Hurricane Helene in 2024,
And whereas the impact of Chief Barty's vision and leadership will surely resonate for generations, guaranteeing that the department is well prepared to advance into the future. So on December 27th, 2024, we wish Chief Barty a fond farewell, best wishes for a healthy and long retirement after a career spanning 43 years in fire service and 9 years in Roseville. So on behalf of the Roseville City Council, we'd like to have it resolved that Rick Barty be commended for his 9 years of outstanding service and dedication to the City of Roseville and the Roseville Fire Department. Congratulate him for his many accomplishments and wished a long, healthy, and enjoyable retirement. On a personal note, I consider you a friend. You are the epitome of what everybody wants in a chief and a human being, and I admire you a lot.
Thank you.
So, the floor is yours. And we did take a picture beforehand with the council.
Oh.
This is yours. You got to find a spot on the wall for that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, I'm really definitely afraid of that red light, so I will keep it short. So, I just want to thank all of you and thank everybody for the opportunity to be the fire chief here in Roseville. It's been quite an adventure for me. More than anything, to have the honor to be able to lead this honorable group of men and women who are brave. They love their job. They're passionate about their job. They love the city of Roseville. So it made my job much, much easier to be able to do that. But I do want to thank publicly is my family, especially my wife, Jennifer, who came with me on this adventure, uprooted them from Phoenix after living there all our lives and then coming over here to Roseville. It's been everything I thought it would be. It's a pleasure to be able to live in Roseville, to be a citizen of Roseville. And then lastly, I want to thank the council and the city manager for the support you've given me personally, but it's a we thing. These are the folks who do the job. I'm just part of the get them what they need. You guys supported them with what they need. They have the equipment. I love this resolution. I actually read it just before I came over here. I wasn't going to read it first, but whoever put it together in a nutshell has really came out to say what's the most important part. And Dom talks about all the time. It's the people. These are the folks who do the job. You take care of the people, the job will get done, and they'll appreciate you for everything you do. So I appreciate you folks for taking care of us. Thank you very much.
Do we need a recess for a minute while we clear out, or? You're welcome to stay. We feel very safe with you all here. But, okay, thank you. Just a phone call away. We know the number. All right. All right. Next up, we have another resolution for a retirement for Rich Plecker, and you and I will start us off at the podium to commend you for your years of service to the city of Roseville. Public comment too.
Well, let's check out what Rick was going to say.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll have my colleagues start us off. Okay.
Whereas Richard Plecker has dedicated 10 years of exemplary service to the City of Roseville as the Environmental Utilities Director. And whereas during his tenure, Rich has demonstrated unwavering commitment to the sustainable management of our natural resources, ensuring a resilient and environmentally responsible future for our community. And
whereas Rich successfully secured a long-term water contract with the Bureau of Reclamation, effectively guaranteeing Roseville's water supply indefinitely into the future, thereby safeguarding this vital resource for residents and businesses alike. And whereas Rich has been an instrumental person in establishing long-term planning strategies and brokering partnerships with regional water suppliers, fostering a collaborative approach that enhances the reliability and sustainability of city water resources. And
Whereas Rich has played a pivotal role in formulating a comprehensive strategy for the diversification of material processing and waste disposal, significantly improving the efficiency and effectiveness of cities' environmental utilities. And whereas Rich's leadership and innovative vision have not only advanced the city's environmental goals, but have also inspired his colleagues and the community to prioritize sustainability and resource conservation. And
Whereas Rich's dedication to public service, collaborative spirit, and professionalism have earned him respect and admiration of his peers, the City Council, and residents of Roseville. And whereas the city expresses its sincere gratitude for his leadership, innovation, and commitment to enhancing the quality of life for all residents of Roseville through his work in environmental utilities. And
whereas this resolution is presented to Rich Plecker as a token of appreciation and recognition for his invaluable service to the city of Roseville. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Roseville that Richard Plecker has been commended for his 10 years of service and dedication to the city of Roseville and the Environmental Utilities Department. And congratulations for many accomplishments, and we wish you a long, healthy, happy, enjoyable retirement.
Thank you.
All the best to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For everything that you've
Thank you.
done for this city. I know I have learned a lot from you, and I know my colleagues have too. So the floor is yours. And
Thank you.
congratulations.
Of all the times that I stood before you, I don't think I've ever been the actual subject of what I'm going to talk about. So after 34 years of marriage to my lovely bride, I've learned that the first person I thank in such situations is her, my wife, Joanne. She is responsible for the man you see here today. I've only forgotten that several times, but in all seriousness, the last 10 years here in Roseville has been the highlight of my professional career. Many of you know that I was in utility service before. I've been a long-term resident of Roseville, and really it was kind of fortuitous that I came here. It was a little bit of on a lark, and I went for it, and I came with sort of 5 things that I wanted to do. And those 5 things were really about water, were about resilience, were about utility and resource strategy. And I've been very fortunate. I've had the support of the city council. I've had the support of city managers, Dom and his predecessors, and I could not have asked for a better environment to do the things that a guy like me does. And so for the audience who hasn't heard it before, in the utility business, everything is about biosolids. Everything we do is about biosolids. But I've managed to get some people excited about that. But really, I really appreciate the opportunity that you've afforded me. I will continue to be a long-term resident of the city. I will be watching. I'll see what's going on to this new generation that's sitting over here. But no, our future is in very, very good hands. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Okay, now is the time for the first public comment of our meeting. The public comment is for any item that's not on the agenda. We have 2 speaker cards here that we'll start with. The first one is from Nancy. Yes. You want to come forward? Yes. Good evening.
My name is Nancy Ayala. I have lived in Roseville for probably 30 years. I have owned my house in Roseville for about 19 years. Over the last about 4 years, there's been a major increase in the transient population, and I'm here because in the last 2 weeks, I have called the police twice. I can't show pictures. I wasn't aware that those pictures had to get vetted, so if I have to come back, I'll have pictures. But I don't have to go any further than my front door to see a tent across the street with a dog not being on a leash. And, I have walked out to my car with my grandchild, who's a year old and 3 years old, and I hear cursing across the street because it's an empty lot, and we have transient people that sit across the street and they curse and they throw things, and we can't have that in our neighborhood. I have an alarm system. It seems like it's been exponentially increasing lately, and I'm not sure where they're coming from. I know that everybody has rights, but as a citizen, the concern I have for my safety and my family's safety. The empty lot is owned by a private person. I have his name and number. We talk regularly. I tell him when I'm calling the police. The laundromat and there's a hair salon, I have their phone numbers and their names because I try to work as a community. But they're not there seeing the problem. So it's myself and my neighbor. She has a daycare. It's us that have to keep calling the police on this problem. And it just doesn't seem like it's getting handled. So I'm here to ask if there's any possibility that perhaps they can have more patrol, just so that they know we're not messing around, that, you know, there's certain restrictions that need to be followed. And it's not the same people there were before, so I'm not sure where the new people are coming from, but I would just like to say, you know, perhaps the city can consider more street lights. It's something to help with this situation. I had pictures, but I realized I was told they have to get vetted, so maybe if I have to come back, I'll have pictures, because like I said, all I have to do is look out my window. I don't have to go anywhere to get the pictures of what's going on. So that's my reason for being here and for asking for some help.
Nancy, thank you for your comments. We have your phone number here on the speaker card. I'm going to hand it over to our city manager and ask that somebody get in touch with you too.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next up we have Kumi. Are you here? Good evening. Hi.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Kumi Vikramasinghe. I moved to Roseville in 1981, and I have a little Montessori preschool right there on Folsom Road for more than 40 years now. So I know all these homeless people have to live somewhere, which is, I'm not saying they are all in the wrong, they shouldn't be there, but they really should not be exposing themselves, taking down their pants right in front of my little ones who are in my child care center. I had to draw the blinds down several times so the kids won't be seeing somebody sprawled on the little lot right in front of the child care. And as Nancy, who is my neighbor, told, this last week I called the police 3 times. The only recourse we have is to call the police. They always come, they always talk to them, try to get them out of the way. Sunday when I came to this, one of the neighbors came over to tell me that there's somebody inside the school premises. That's the first time I had anybody come into the school premises. And when I came, there was this lady who was sitting on the steps in my school, and she had all her paraphernalia with her. And I parked in the parking lot and I talked to her, and I said, can you please move out of here? This is my premises. She said, I don't know you. I don't have to talk to you. So this went on. I had called the police. I said, I'm going to call the police. Go ahead. They told me to come here. So I called the police. They came. They came and took her out. But the thing is, 2 days later, on Monday when I came, there was this woman screaming really bad language, and she went and pulled out her pants and went potty right across from the police, and I called the police, and they came, and there were 2 parents who had just come to drop their children off in this daycare. If I was them, I would take my kid home. So I'm losing business. I'm operating with about 40% of what I used to have there for all these over 40 years. They are good parents, and I'm scared to open the door anymore for somebody. I have to pull the blinds down on that side of the street. It's just not me. It's the kids. It's the parents. And I've been here over 40 years. I have educated over 500 children in Placer County itself. I really need some recourse other than just to call the police every time. And I'm scared to open my door, and parents come in to pick up their children, or a new parent who is interested in the school. They see the tents around, and they don't want their child in there. I wouldn't want my child or grandchild in there. Really would, I can see that red light. I really would like some recourse. Please, I would like to address this the best you can. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We hear you, Kumi. And same goes. We have your phone number here, and I'm going to have our city manager ask him to follow up with you. Thank you. Is there anyone else tonight that would like to make a comment on any item that's not on the agenda? Okay, we'll close public comment and we'll move on to the consent calendar. Ask the clerk to announce meeting procedures for the consent.
Thank you, Mayor. So all matters on the consent calendar are considered routine in nature and will be approved by one motion of the City Council. There will be no discussion on consent calendar items unless a member of the city staff, council, or a member of the public requests that a specific item be pulled for further discussion. At this time, we do have a couple of requests by staff, none from City Council. So I'll go over the staff and then ask the public if there's anyone who'd like to pull an item. At this time, staff has requested that the following items be considered to be removed. Item 7.7 should be removed from the agenda and not discussed tonight and brought back to a future council meeting. In addition, item 7.34 will be pulled for presentation and further discussion. Then finally, the record will reflect on consent that on item 7.15, Vice Mayor Alvord will be recusing herself as required per the Living Act. With that, Mayor, if there's any member of the public who'd like to request an item be pulled, please come on up. Okay. Seeing none, the City Council will consider consent calendar items 7.1 through 7.6, 7.8 through 7.33, 7.35 to 7.42. With that, may I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor with a second. We'll start our roll call with Vice Mayor Alvord.
Yes.
Councilmember Haudashelt.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Thank you. So we can move on to item 7.35, which is staffing changes. 3.4. That was 7.34.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor Bernasconi, council members. I'm Stacy Peterson, Human Resources Director, and I'm going to give a brief update on item 7.34, which is our staffing changes. Human resources staff continually evaluate our organizational structure, our workload demands, staffing levels, in order to provide high-level services for the community. We also work closely with leadership to make sure that we're focusing on succession planning. To ensure we comply with government code, I'm presenting the staffing updates since we are reclassifying a vacant assistant city manager position to a new finance director position. The salary for the new finance director position is being set 15% above the assistant finance director position. There are other recommended position adds, as you can see on this slide, and there's a class retitle in the staff update, which are further explained in the staff report. The fiscal impact for the staff report is $197,614 to the general fund for this fiscal year. And the ongoing annual cost will be $462,332. With that, staff recommends that council adopt an ordinance to approve the management A and B salary schedules effective December 28, 2024, and motion to approve the attached citywide allocation schedule effective December 28, 2024. I'm happy to answer any questions there may be.
Thank you very much. Does the council have any questions of Stacy?
No.
I'll open up to public comment. Is there anyone who would like to make a comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment, bring it back to the council. If there's no other further deliberation, a motion?
Okay, thank you. So at this time on item 7.34, the City Council will consider adopting ordinance number 6904, amending ordinance 6873, the salary ordinance for management employees, as amended by Appendix G, to be effective December 28, 2024, as an urgency ordinance. With that, may I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor with a second. We'll start our roll call with Vice Mayor Alvord.
Yes.
Councilmember Haudashelt.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion
Thank you.
passes.
Okay, we'll Move into item 8.1, Renewables Procurement Standard, Procurement Plan, and Renewables Portfolio Standard Enforcement Program Update.
Evening.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. I am Dan Beans, your CEO and Director of Roseville Electric, and with me is Petra Wallace, our Power Supply and Portfolio Manager. So thank you for allowing us to present critical updates to our Renewable Portfolio Standard Procurement Plan and Enforcement Program. Before we jump into the very brief presentation, I wanted to explain why we are bringing these changes to you today. First, the renewable energy market is unable to keep up with demand, creating artificially high prices. Second, although we have pursued new renewable energy projects and agreements to replace expiring contracts due to the scarcity market conditions and interconnection delays at the California state grid level, we are predicted to be short of renewable energy credits sometime after next year. And third, the law does allow us to take steps to limit renewable energy procurement cost exposure to our customers. And we are recommending these changes to use the provisions of the law and regulations to protect our customers. Is there slides, maybe? There we go. Perfect. All right, so some background. California's Renewable Portfolio Standard, or RPS, for short, was established in 2002 under Senate Bill 1078. Since then, every few years, another change is made either through new laws or additional regulation, and typically those changes speed up the target dates and or further limit our resource options. Current law requires us to serve our community with 60% eligible renewable energy by 2030. And eligibility of renewable energy resources is a bit tricky. For example, hydroelectric generation practically is emission-free. However, in California, only recognizes hydro generation as renewable if it's generated at a hydro plant less than 30 megawatts in size. The other eligible sources include solar, wind, geothermal, and biomass. Another nuance of eligibility is contract length. A contract less than 10 years in duration is not eligible regardless of the energy source. So in California, you can be found not compliant even if you served your community with 100% carbon-free energy but did not meet the specific provisions in the RPS regulations. Since 2011, multi-year compliance periods were established and publicly owned utilities were required to participate. So Roseville Electric has successfully met all prior RPS compliance obligations through compliance period 4, which was between 2021 and 2024. However, compliance period 5 is presenting new challenges, including the renewable energy market is supply constrained. The delays in getting actual projects built and connected to the California grid is the primary cause of the lack of projects available to utilities over the next few years. Then there's counterparty resistance. Even though we have put requests out to solicit projects, we've had little success and no success in securing a project to cover our needs in compliance period 5. All of the above have resulted in elevated prices. Market uncertainty, constrained supply, and high cost of borrowing have driven up costs, reducing affordable procurement options for compliance period 5. The cost of purchasing a renewable energy credit has quadrupled over the past several months and risen to the point where an RPS rec can cost double what the fine would be for noncompliance. On a better note, Roseville has secured renewable projects and is assessing other viable renewable projects as described in our integrated resource plan for future compliance periods beyond compliance period 5. One way we are avoiding the delays and costs associated with the state grid is to seek projects that can be built and connected directly into Roseville's grid. For the record, Roseville has delivered 68.5% carbon-free energy to the community on average over the past 7 years, while saving our customers over $200 million each year. So, the recommended updates to the RPS program will do two very important things for our customers. One, for compliance period 5, which is 25 to 27, the cost to comply with RPS will be capped at the current electric rates reflected in the City Municipal Code approved in June 2024. This means we will comply with the RPS in compliance period 5 in as much as the budget with the current rates can sustain it. And then the second point, from 2028 forward, the annual rec cost increase would be limited to a growth rate of no more than 3% annually thereafter. Now, this increase only applies to the portion of the budget related to renewable RPS procurement, not the entire budget. This means that Roseville could implement the cost limitation for expenditure provision as an alternative to meeting the RPS targets for compliance period 5. And I want to make this note really clear. So although this is an established provision under the state's RPS regulations, it's in the law, it's provided to electric utilities to protect customers, there are limited examples or precedents regarding the CEC's recognition of this approach as an alternative compliance mechanism. It's in the rules. We can do it. It's just no one's done it yet. And the other interesting thing is a lot of time it'll take a few years before they look back and actually do the reconciliation of the previous compliance period. So there's going to be a big delay no matter what happens. So anyway, by adopting these recommended updates, Roseville is utilizing established tools within the state's RPS regulations to proactively manage future renewable procurement costs. And this will allow us to protect customers from near-term elevated market costs for renewable procurement while operating within the RPS compliance framework. And with that, Petra and I would be happy to take any questions.
Okay. Councilor, do you have any questions of Dan or Petra?
I just had a question. You're talking about small hydros counted in this, but not large hydro. Looking at the tea leaves in the future, is there a possibility maybe that, given the world, a lot of changes going on at the state and federal level, that maybe we would be getting a credit for some large hydro?
Well, the large hydro definitely will help us when we get to the 100% carbon-free standard or rule, because the 60% in the rule at the 2035, 2040 has to be, that can be eligible RPS, but hydro can make up the other 40% or some other technology, as long as large hydro included, as long as it's carbon-free. So the hydro,
eventually.
So our long-term WAPA contracts are good. They're gonna help us with that other 40%. But meanwhile, with the market as crazy as it is currently, it's not wise to go out there and
Do that now.
and like you could go out and buy paper recs and say that you're compliant, but you're really just throwing away money. So
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we'll open up to public comment. Does anyone like to make a comment on this item? Okay, I'll close public comment, bring it back to the council. If there are not any additional questions or comments, we have a motion.
Yes. So on item 8.1, the City Council will consider adopting Resolution Number 24-422, approving the updated Roseville Renewable Portfolio Standards, or RPS, procurement plan, and the Roseville Renewable Portfolio Standards, or RPS, enforcement program. With that, may I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor with a second. We'll start a roll call with Vice Mayor Alvord.
Yes.
Councilmember Haldeshell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. On to item 8.2, Development Impact Fees Report for fiscal year, which ended in June 30th, 2024. Good evening, Dennis.
Good evening, Mayor Bernasconi, council members. This item is required by state law and is an annual report on our development impact fee programs. California's Mitigation Fee Act, which is regularly referred to as AB 1600 or Assembly Bill 1600, authorizes local government agencies, including the City of Roseville, to impose fees on specific development projects to defray the cost of new or additional public facilities that are needed to serve those developments. Development impact fees are charged by local government agencies in connection with approval of development projects. With these types of projects, a nexus study is prepared that identifies the project costs, and sets the appropriate fee or fees. The purpose of these fees is to defray all or a portion of the cost of public facilities related to a development project. The fees are collected and used to finance the acquisition, construction, or improvement of public facilities needed as a result of new development. And examples of development impact fees at the City of Roseville are listed here on this slide. The Mitigation Fee Act also requires a local agency that imposes development impact fees to prepare an annual report providing specific information about each of those fee programs. Within 180 days after the end of each fiscal year, the city is required to make information about these fees available to the public. The reporting requirements include a brief description of each type of fee, the amount of the fee, the beginning and ending balance of the account or fund, the amount of the fees collected and the interest earned on the fees, and an identification of each public improvement project. Staff has made this report available on the city's webpage before this 180-day deadline. So this presentation about this annual report is an information item. No council action is required, but I'm available to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mayor, I do have a question. So in November, we had a summary of the status of development agreements.
Correct.
And within there, were those development fees included, and the status and the amount of them?
There are some development fees that are included in those development agreements, and some development impact fees are outside of the development agreements.
Is this the case where the law is overly, I'll use the word regulatory, so it strikes me as it's repetition. Is this action unique from the action we took in November?
My understanding of the action in November, and that was not from me, it was from our Development Services Department, but that is their regular evaluation of our compliance with our development agreements as well as the compliance by the other party in those development agreements. This is just an annual reporting requirement on how much we've collected for each of those fee programs and how we're spending the money.
Okay.
I think I may understand the question. There's two separate fees going on here. One is AB 1600, which is a state regulatory fee for a nexus. But then there's also on top of there's DA fees that are agreements between the city and the developer, which could be in addition to the AB 1600 fees.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Mr. Casey. I was just trying to determine whether in that very comprehensive, very thick information we got in November, whether this information was already listed as an item in the amount. So curiosity caught me, sorry. Well, I just wanted to extend the meeting to at least 7 o'clock, so.
Are there any other questions of the council?
Mayor.
We'll open it up to public comment. Is there anyone who would like to make a comment on this item? Okay, close public comment, bring it back to the council. Are there any further deliberations or comments?
No action required, right?
No action, okay.
Receive and file.
All right, thank you. Okay, and it's you again, okay. So item 8.3 is America Rescue Plan Act, a budget adjustment.
Good evening again, Mayor. With me tonight is Scott Pettengill, our Assistant Finance Director, and he'll be making the presentation on this item.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. As Dennis mentioned, this evening we're recommending a budget adjustment that involves our American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funds. So before we get into the details of that budget adjustment itself, we want to provide some context for this recommendation. So back in 2021, the City of Roseville received about $17.6 million in ARPA funds, and this federal funding was provided to local governments across the country to help recover from the impacts of COVID-19 pandemic. Upon receiving those funds, the City Council took the subsequent steps of appropriating all the funds for various projects across the city, including the soccer complex, Weber Park, and Johnson Pool renovations. The ARPA funds did come along with some spending deadlines, with all the ARPA funds having to be obligated or committed for a specific purpose by December 31st of 2024. Obligated in terms of the ARPA funds means that the money has to be formally committed to a specific project or expenditure through a contract or purchase order, essentially signifying that the funds can no longer be used for any other uses and must be used for that designated purpose. The other upcoming deadline is that all ARPA funds must be fully spent by December 31st of 2026. As of the end of November, the city still has approximately $5.4 million in ARPA funds remaining unspent. We've obligated most of that 5.4, but there is still unobligated balances for things like project contingencies, which don't meet that federal criteria for obligation. Therefore, the city does not anticipate being able to obligate all those funds by the December 31st, 2024 deadline. So to prepare for these upcoming deadlines, while ensuring compliance with federal requirements, we are recommending this evening that we reallocate that $5.4 million in ARPA funds from the council-approved projects with remaining balances, and then use that $5.4 million to offset an equivalent amount of police and fire department general fund expenditures. We will then in turn use $5.36 million of those freed up general funds to restore the project budgets. The reason why we're only reestablishing the project budgets up to $5.36 million instead of that full $5.4 million is because the IT business continuity and disaster plan project is anticipated to come in under budget by $59,000. And we're recommending that we place those funds in the general contingency in case of other project overruns. Also, in this budget adjustment, we are recommending a realignment of $300,000 from the Weber Park renovation project to the Campus Oaks Park project. The Weber Park renovation project is anticipated to come in under budget, and this additional funding will ensure the inclusion of a bike component that was part of the park master plan at Campus Oaks Park. The recommendation that we present tonight aligns with federal guidelines that allows ARPA funds to be used for public safety costs. Also, by reallocating the remaining ARPA funds for public safety purposes, we're creating more flexibility for the city. In other words, in the event that any funds remain unspent by that December 2026 deadline, the city will maintain the ability to spend those funds rather than have to return them to the federal government. To summarize this recommendation, the ARPA spending deadline is fast approaching, and to ensure we fully utilize all that federal aid, staff is recommending approval of a budget adjustment to reallocate all currently unspent ARPA funds in the amount of $5.4 million to offset police and fire general fund costs, and then in turn use those general fund resources to reestablish the budgets for those council-approved projects. And in this budget adjustment, we're also recommending that we reduce the business continuity plan project by $59,000 due to the project costs coming in below estimates, as well as that realignment of $300,000 from the Weber Park renovation project to the Campus Oaks project. So with that, it concludes my presentation, and we are happy to answer any questions or provide clarifications.
Okay, great, thank you. Does council have any questions of staff?
Mayor Roseville, what happens if the 300,000, if we don't come under budget? Do we come back and have another item and reallocate that back? I mean, how confident are we that we'll be 300,000 under Weber Park, which isn't done yet, right?
Yeah, one of the benefits of making this proposed reallocation is that if any of these projects come in under budget, we'll be able to reallocate any remaining funding to other council priority projects.
I wasn't very clear. So let's say that Weber Park does not come in under budget. Then we'll come back and have an item that reallocates the reallocation?
My understanding is we've already brought forward a notice of completion on Weber Park.
It's pretty close,
in January, so.
Withdraw my question.
Any other questions? I'll open up to public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to make a comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment, bring it back to the council. Any other?
Hold on, we have one.
Oh, okay. Good evening, Mariel.
Got you locked in.
Good evening, council. Not so much as a comment, but a questions in regards to the allocation of the money for the project, the American Rescue Plan project. What or can there be, let me get my question going right, can there be other projects that are added on with the monies that are not yet spent? And can it be done, or does it have to be done, meaning the approval of it, before December 31st, 2024? Okay, that's my question.
Yeah, all of the ARPA funding that was provided to the city has been budgeted to specific projects by the city council. And this won't change that. We're just changing the funding source from the ARPA funds to general funds. And so the entire $17.6 million has been allocated by the council to projects. So none of it is available for rebudgeting because they're all projects that are underway at this point. They're just not completed.
That answered my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments on this item? Okay, we'll close public comment, bring it back to the council. Any other deliberation, comments? Seeing none, we have a motion.
Thank you. On item 8.3, the City Council will consider adopting ordinance number 6892, authorizing certain amendments to the fiscal year 2024-25 budget, and declaring this ordinance to be immediately effective as an appropriation measure. With that, may I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor with the second. We'll start a roll call with Vice Mayor Albert. Councilmember Haldeshell.
Yes.
Councilor Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, next item up is 9.1, Board and Commissions biannual vacancies.
Well, we're going to have one of my staff members come on up and introduce herself.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Katrina Six, City Clerk Technician for the City Clerk's Office. I am here tonight to present the Board and Commission's biannual vacancies. Tonight, we are going to be appointing members to 6 boards and commissions. The first is going to be for the Board of Appeals. We do ask that you appoint 5 members to 4-year terms expiring December 31st, 2028. We received 8 applications. Next, you will vote on the Library Board. We are asking that you appoint 2 members to 2-year terms that will expire December 31st, 2026. This is a 2-year term due to a future consolidation. We received 4 applications. Next up, we have the Parks and Recreation Commission. We're asking that you appoint 4 members to 2-year terms, again, due to the future consolidation. This will expire December 31st, 2026, and you received 12 applications. Next, we have the Personnel Board, which we ask that you appoint 3 members to 4-year terms expiring December 31st, 2028, and we received 4 applications. We have the Senior Commission, where we ask that you appoint 3 members to 2-year terms due to the future consolidation, expiring December 31st, 2026. We received 5 applications. And lastly, we ask that you appoint 2 members to 4-year terms expiring December 31st, 2028, and we received 4 applications. My recommendation before you tonight is to vote and appoint members to fill the current vacancies on the 6 boards and commissions. We will start with the pink voting slips.
Okay, prior to that, open it up.
Okay, thank you. Does the council have any questions before I open it up to public comment?
Yes, Mayor. This is really focused on the Parks and Rec. So in order for a applicant to advance, in case, they have to have 3 votes of the council? Or can an applicant advance with just 2 votes of the council?
So according to our procedures, it's 3. So you're going to keep voting until you get at least 3 nominations, and then once you get 3, then we take a vote.
I understand that.
Okay. I'll open up to public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to make a comment on this item? You can just go to the podium and, yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Jason Blessinger. Excuse me. I'm going to bring this down because I'm not that tall. I'm a faculty at Sac State. I've been teaching there for the last 10 years in the Parks and Recs department. and live here in Roseville for the last 10 years, and I've applied for the Parks and Recs Commission. I just want to say hi and thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you very much. We'll take your card up here too. Okay, anyone else? Okay, we'll close public comment and we will get to voting. You are doing one at a time.
We will,
Okay.
yes. So, thank you, Mayor. So, yes, we will start off with our Board of Appeals, which is in the pink color. So, please go ahead and make your selections, and once you're done, please pass your ballots forward to me. Okay, so we will start off with, again, this is for the Board of Appeals. So once we get to 3, those individuals will be considered as the highest vote getters, and we'll continue to move on until we get to the 5 that we need. So we'll start our voting with Vice Mayor Alvord selecting and voting for Howard Rudd, Charles Sandoval, Luis Santiago, Andrea Seminer, and Sandeep Upamaka. Next, we'll start, this is for Councilmember Howard Deschelt. We have the selection of Robert Powell, Howard Rudd, Charles Sandoval, Luis Santiago, and Andrea Seminer. Next, we have Councilmember Mendoza voting for Jason Douglas, Howard Rudd, Charles Sandoval, Andrea Seminer, and Sandeep Upamaka. Next, Councilmember Rakucci has voted for Brandy Colhart, Robert Powell, Charles Sandoval, Luis Santiago, and Andrea Seminer. And our mayor voting for Jason Douglas, Howard Rudd, Luis Santiago, Andrea Seminer, and Sandeep Upamaka. I'm going to ask Katrina, our technician, to please provide the vote count.
All right, so we did make it. We do have 5 that received 3 or more. Those 5 are going to be Howard Rudd with 4 votes, Charles Sandoval with 4 votes, Luis Santiago with 4 votes, Andrea Seminer with 5 votes, and Sandeep Upamaka with 3 votes.
Thank you. That concludes the voting for the Board of Appeals. Next, we'll move on to the Library Board, and that is in the gold yellow ballot. So if you could please make your selection and forward your ballots over to me. Thank you. Okay, thank you. We'll start off with Vice Mayor Alvord making her selection for the 2 individuals. She has voted for Nora Perella and Kayla Scott. Next will be Councilmember Howard Deschelt voting for Jennifer Krupp and Kayla Scott. Next is Councilmember Mendoza voting for Nora Perella and Kayla Scott. Councilmember Rakucci voting for Nora Perella and Kayla Scott. And Mayor Bernasconi voting for Nora Perella and Kayla Scott.
So that makes 2 appointments. It is going to be Nora Perella and Kayla Scott.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to our next board, which is the Parks and Recreation Commission. That is in the green color ballot. Please make your selections and pass your ballot over to me.
So
This is
for
for four.
Clarification, Nora Perella is no longer an eligible candidate for this.
Please cross off number 9.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll start.
Also, please cross off number 12. Sandeep Upamaka also was appointed to the Board of Appeals.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start our vote count with Vice Mayor Albert, who has voted for Nick Alexander, Charles Aquino, Sandra Pollock Cushing, and Benyu Malisara. 2, 3, 4. Next, we'll go with Councilmember Howard Schelt, who has voted for Charles Aquino, Jason Blessinger, Kevin Hernandez, and Benyu Malisara. Next, Councilmember Mendoza has voted for Nick Alexander, Jason Blessinger, Sandra Pollock Cushing, and Kevin Hernandez. Councilmember Rakucci has voted for Nick Alexander, Jason Blessinger, Sandra Pollock Cushing, and Kevin Hernandez. And Mayor Bernasconi has voted for Nick Alexander, Jason Blessinger, Kevin Hernandez, and Benyu Malisara.
Okay, so it appears we have a tie between 2. So we have 4 votes for Nick Alexander. We have 4 votes for Jason Blessinger. We have 4 votes for Kevin Hernandez. So that would make those 3 appointed to this commission. We have a tie between Sandra Pollock Cushing and Benyu Malisara with 3 votes.
Okay, so
vote again.
Right, thank you. So at this time, we're only going to vote on the last one that we need. I will ask the council to please make a selection between between Benyu Malisara and Sandra Pollock Cushing, please. Thank you.
That was easy.
Okay, so we have Vice Mayor Albert voting for Sandra Pollock Cushing. We have Councilmember Howdeshout voting for Benyu Malisara. We have Councilmember Mendoza voting for Sandra Pollock Cushing. We have Councilmember Rakucci voting for Sandra Pollock Cushing. And we have Mayor Bernasconi voting for Benyu Malisara.
That will make 3 votes for Sandra Pollock Cushing.
Okay, moving on to our next.
I don't think we have to vote, do we?
No, because there's only
We
3
have
remaining.
3. Yeah, we have the 3.
That is correct. So for the Board of Appeals, Howard Rudd was appointed to for the Personnel Board, Howard Rudd was voted in for the Board of Appeals, so that does make 3, which means we do not have to vote.
Now let's go back one more time.
So you need to take a motion on that.
We will at the end, right?
Yes, at the very end we do. So you need to vote on the, oh, wait, we're going to the next one, sorry. So yes, on the Personnel Board.
Commission.
Personnel, we just,
Oh, Senior Commission, you're right. So on the Senior Commission, you have the opportunity to appoint 3 individuals. So please make your selection and please pass forward your ballots. Okay, so this is for the Senior Commission with the possibility of 3 appointments. We'll start off with Vice Mayor Alvord, who has voted for Kat Janish, and also for Lakshmi Rao and Hannah Wagner. Councilmember Howdeshelt has voted for Kat Janish, for Lakshmi Rao and Hannah Wagner. Councilmember Mendoza has voted for Marcia Keller, Lakshmi Rao, and Hannah Wagner. Councilmember Rakucci has voted for Kat Janish, Marcia Keller, and Lakshmi Rao. And Mayor Bernasconi. Thank you. Mayor Bernasconi has voted for Marcia Keller, Lakshmi Rao, and Hannah Wagner.
All right, so we have a tie between Kat Janish and Marcia Keller with 3, and we will appoint Lakshmi Rao and Hannah Wagner. We will need to revote. There's a tie between, and we're only appointing 3. So we've got 2 that have 3 votes, and 2 that have, 1 that has 4, and 1 that has 5. So it would be between Kat Janish and Marcia Keller.
And Hannah Wagner,
Hannah was appointed, she got 4.
okay, I misunderstood. I might be out of votes now. Hope there's no tie.
And Kat and Marcia.
Sorry. What I had for each one. Look at my notes.
I have to look at my cheat sheet.
Okay. So again, this is for the last appointment to the Senior Commission. We'll start off with Vice Mayor Alvord. She has voted for Kat Janish. Councilmember Howdeshelt has voted for Kat Janish. Councilmember Mendoza has voted for Marcia Keller. Councilmember Rakucci has voted for Kat Janish. And Mayor Bernasconi has voted for Marcia Keller.
All right, that would make 3 for Kat Janish.
Thank you. So moving on to our next one, which is our Transportation Commission. Thank you. Okay, so this is for the Transportation Commission with the possibility of 2 appointments. We'll start off with Vice Mayor Albert, who has voted for Jason Probst and Anthony Sabathia. Councilmember Howdeshelt has voted for Jason Probst and Stephen Strongberg. Councilmember Mendoza has voted for Jason Probst and Stephen Stromberg. Councilmember Rakucci has voted for Jason Probst and Stephen Strongberg. And Mayor Bernasconi has selected Jason Probst and Stephen Stromberg.
That would make 5 votes for Jason Probst and 4 votes for Stephen Stromberg.
Okay, so next and last will be the Personnel Board. There's an opportunity for 3 appointents.
I don't have a personnel board.
Yeah, Personnel Board was already appointed due to there only being 3.
Yeah, we didn't have a choice. Yeah, it was the only ones left.
Want me off of it.
Sorry.
You're good.
Make sure I have it. I'm sorry, can you tell me who it was for the Personnel Board real quick, Katrina?
I can.
Thank you.
The Personnel Board will be Robert Brittany, Jason Douglas, and Prabhakar Maram Reddy.
Very much. Okay. Thank you very much for your assistance tonight. We had quite a bit to do tonight. Okay. You ready? Okay, so on item 9.1, the City Council will consider the following appointments. For the Board of Appeal, the 5 individuals to a term expiring December 31st, 2028 are Howard Rudd, Charles Sandoval, Luis Santiago, Andrea Seminar, and Sandeep Upamaka. For the Library Board, the 2 individuals to a term expiring December 31st, 2026 are Nora Perella, Kayla Scott. For the Parks and Recreation Commission, the 4 individuals to a term expiring December 31st, 2026 are Nick Alexander, Jason Blessinger, Sandra Paula Cushing, and Kevin Hernandez. For the Personnel Board, the 3 individuals to a term expiring December 31st, 2028 are Robert Brittany, Jason Douglas, and Prabhakar Mareddy. And for the Senior Commission, 3 individuals to a term expiring December 31st, 2026 are Kat Janish and Lakshmi Rao and Hannah Wagner. And for the Transportation Commission, the 2 individuals to a term expiring December 31st, 2028 are Jason Probst and Stephen Stromberg. With that, may I please have a motion to approve all of the appointments tonight?
So moved. Oh, second, yeah.
Great, thank you. We have a first and a second. We'll start our roll call with Vice Mayor Elverd.
Yes.
Councilmember Howdeshelt.
Yes.
Councilor Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you to the applicants who were here this evening. Congratulations. And if you did not get an appointment, you see that we have many to choose from, and we just encourage you to keep applying. This brings us to almost the end of our agenda. We will take one more public comment. So is there anyone here tonight that would like to make a comment on any item that's on the agenda? Now is your time. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. We'll ask our city manager and city attorney if they have any comments, and then we'll have our council comments.
No public comment, Mayor, but I would like to share our December What's Happening in Roseville video. It's about a 3-minute video that kind of highlights what's happening in December, which is a very busy month. And because of one regular meeting, some of this will be recap, but some will be new. It's presented by Gina McCall from our Economic Development Department. So without further ado.
Hi, I'm Gina McCall, an Economic Development Analyst for the City of Roseville's Economic Development Department, and this is what's happening in Roseville. The holidays are almost here. Join us for all the downtown holiday celebrations. Come down December 4th for the Tree Grove featuring holiday trees decorated by community groups, Visit Santa, and more. The next evening gets even bigger and brighter during the official Christmas tree lighting. The Christmas tree lighting also includes cookie decorating, a kids' activity zone, food vendors, plus visits with Santa. And for the adults, it's time for a celebratory toast at the North Pole Tavern on Friday, December 6th. A $12 entry fee is all it takes to enjoy live music and taste local wines and brews. And while you are downtown for all the holiday celebrations, make sure to support the local businesses and help keep your tax dollars in Placer. Roseville, help us prevent front yard fallen leaves from washing into our creeks or clogging our stormwater drains. Take advantage of curbside leaf pickup from November 12th through January 17th. Depending on the tree coverage in your neighborhood, the city offers bagged or leaf pile pickup. For more information or to use our interactive map, visit roseville.ca.us/leaf pickup. Do you have extra canned goods or non-perishable items in your pantry? From Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 4 p.m., bring your non-perishable food items to the Utility Exploration Center. Each family donating will receive a succulent while supplies last and tips on how to make your home more water efficient. Donations will support the Roseville St. Vincent de Paul Society to combat hunger. Help make a difference, both in our community and for the environment. Join the City of Roseville team. Be a part of a growing, innovative city where you can make an impact and advance your career. There are opportunities for everyone, from flexible part-time positions to full-time careers. Whether you enjoy customer service, engineering, or even working with technology, we have a position for you. Visit roseville.ca.us/jobs. And of course, sign up for more Roseville news and events at roseville.ca.us/connect.
Nice job.
Thank you. That's a good one.
That was good.
And also, just quickly, I feel remiss if I didn't thank Rich Plecker and Rick Barty for their decade of leadership in the city of Roseville. They made our community better. They made our team better. They made me better as a leader. And so I really cherished the last decade with them both. I was on the team when they were hired on, and they have been exemplary for the city of Roseville, and really, truly, just great people, as you said, Mayor, just good individuals, and they will be missed. And I appreciate their leadership and friendship.
Thank you. To our city attorney, any comments?
I have none, thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Do you want to start us off, Councilmember
Sure.
Cucci?
Okay, I will. I would say that it's so that all of a sudden December is here and gone, and it's kind of crazy. Most of the time, been to several Northern California Power Association meetings. They're located in headquarters here in Roseville, and we have legislative time too, which is about a 4-hour time slot that we do every maybe 3 months on what's happening at state, federal, and local levels. And here being in December, it was with a lot of the changes of people, both at a national and a local levels, what maybe to expect. So that was pretty interesting. That keeps continuing on. I also have a meeting this Friday with the same group. But I do want to mention something kind of fun. Not that my electric meetings aren't fun, but they're busy. And this last week, I had an opportunity with Mayor Bernasconi to go to Story Walk, and that's a program they're having at Maidu Park. And what it is, it's a children's story that they tell and put on a placard. And so he breaks up the stories, and you're walking in nature and reading the words and singing the songs. So it gets children and adults that go on it really back to nature. So they're reading when they don't really know they're reading. It makes it fun. And so we didn't get to go on the walk because it was like raining cats and dogs, but we were at the library at Maidu and got to see pictures of it. So I'm looking forward to going on it. Just bear in mind that it's over there close to the soccer parking lot, and so it's you don't see it from the road, so you have to look for it. So can't wait to look for it. And it was started by a person in Vermont, so it's not just a Roseville idea, but we learn from others, and when people have good ideas, that's the best time to learn. So this should be fun. And that's the only ones I was going to mention. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and be safe.
No council update assignments, Mayor, just a few comments, because we didn't really have a full meeting last time because we had to exit to the rotunda. I wanted to just give a shout out. Every year, we always have the tree lighting, and it's so festive, and Parks and Rec and all of our city employees do so much work, but there's some behind-the-scenes people, Public Works, and all the people that close off those streets to make it safe for our families and do all the early morning and late night work, and I just want to give them a special thank you and a shout-out because they don't get a lot of recognition for a lot of the work they do down here that makes a lot of these items and these events down here as successful as they are. So wanted to make sure I got that out. And then with all of the hustle and bustle to get to the swearing in last time, it didn't come back up here to the council, but I wanted to personally thank Mayor Haushout, former Mayor Haushout now, for his leadership. You served the city well, and I want to thank you for always being everywhere. I mean, I have a busy schedule, but it just kind of seems like you found a way to fit it in. But now, the good thing about this is now you have a few less meetings as mayor, which means you can now work on your cornhole game so that you and I can reign victorious this year at Stone Ridge. Because I think you just need a few extra lessons and we could be there. So we're going for gold this year.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. But I just wanted to thank you, Mayor, so thank you very much. And thank you, Mayor Berlusconi.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Alvord?
Okay, well, being it's my first night, I'd just say that I am looking forward to working with the city staff and for the public with this council and getting started on some of the commission assignments in January. So I look forward to that. I know that Santa is making his way around town, and I believe tomorrow I'll be sitting out in West Park waiting for Santa to arrive. So hopefully some of you have been there when Santa's come, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. You just reminded me of something. Thank you, Councilmember Mendoza, for those kind words. While I'm in a different seat, I'm only slightly less busy. I think Councilmember Mendoza and I know several others were at the Troop 11 pancake breakfast this past Saturday. I've got a food theme going here. Monday night, I was invited by Volunteers of America to serve the seniors at Manzanita Place. Manzanita Place is a fabulous. Volunteers of America have had Manzanita Place in Roseville for over 30 years, and it was wonderful. I sat down at a table, and the language barrier was broken over food, but the woman at the head of the table was Russian. There was a woman who was Hungarian. There was a woman who was Romanian. There was a woman there who's been there for 30 years, who's Filipino, and she had a mug which showed in a younger day when she was with Bob Hope 2 times, as she told me. So what a wonderful way to enjoy the holiday. Vice Mayor Karen Alvord reminded me that on Saturday we'll be judging out in the west area, West Park, Solaire, a couple of judging tree houses, decoration of houses of that. Also on Saturday, I think maybe Mayor Berlusconi will be part of the Christmas basket food drive on Saturday. And then, on one piece of council business, tomorrow's the SACOG Board of Directors, so I'll be there. Thank you.
Okay, great. I was with you last year at the Manzanita House, and that same resident showed us the same picture of her and Bob Hope, so she's very proud of that. And I,
oh my God,
she probably gets to bring that out at every meal, and she's like, fresh blood, yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, so since our last meeting, we all have been busy. We've had our the chamber had the parade on our Vernon Street. We had the pancake breakfast at Station 1. We had the Tommy Apostles Shopping Spree, which is a great charity for our school-aged children. I had a Greater Sacramento Economic Council meeting last Thursday and have since been invited to a dinner January 8th in Sacramento. Greater Sacramento has invited a group of dignitaries, a delegation from Germany will be traveling across California to meet with public and private sector leaders. So that will be another great opportunity to plant another seed for our region. That will be awesome because since we've heard the CHIPS Act regarding going to Bosch and the millions of dollars going there, which is really phenomenal. Tomorrow morning is the leadership session through the Roseville Chamber. I will be stopping by there. I'd like to welcome again Vice Mayor Alvord, first meeting. That's wonderful. And also thank Mayor Hauschaut for his 2 years of service sitting in this chair. So we will have our next meeting January 15th. January 15th, 6 p.m. I'd like to wish everyone a very wonderful, warm, safe, happy holidays. And I think that's all for us for tonight. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.